Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. And this video is going to be about the standout I organized yesterday in response to the violence in our public schools and basically trying to get the city to implement having school resource officers back in all our schools where I think they're needed, and many parents and people do as well. So I know this is a tricky conversation, but anyway, I put together a standout at the last minute yesterday morning that I tried to organize for last night. And I had about 309 people respond saying that they would be there. And out of those 309 people, none of them showed up. So I was a little discouraged about that, to say the least, because none of them showed up and many of them asked me to do this. So when I was heading up there, I knew going up there, I kept saying to myself as I was walking up there, Mike, you had over 300 people say they would go. If 20 show, you did a good job. So none of those people showed. Luckily, Steve White and his wife April and their son showed. Steve had initially messaged me and he said, Mike, I've got plans. There's nothing. I can't make it. And then he said, you know what? He messaged me later on, said, I thought about it. We canceled our plans. We'll be there. And he always shows up for stuff. He always does. We've disagreed on things, but the guy's rock solid when it comes to giving back to his community. Same with Karen Kalinowski. I messaged her and all the candidates that I had emails or Facebooks for. Karen Kalinowski showed up, Kenny Warren showed up, and Craig Benoit showed up. And that was basically it. So I was a little discouraged about that because of the seriousness of this issue. So there's been a lot of violence in our schools, and we've all been hearing it for a while. And that we had that one particular incident a few days ago where a student filmed it, put it on YouTube, and we all got to see a little bit of what's really happening and the real violence that's going on in the schools. And it caught media attention. It wasn't just me who covered it. I mean, Spectrum News is running it. The Berkshire Eagle did a piece on it. The superintendent had to come out and say, we're going to address this and we're suspending people and there's going to be repercussions. I don't think suspending kids, how's that solving the problem? Talk about kicking the can down the road. Really, and I'll get into that. But basically the problem is, you have many teachers in our schools unhappy because they're underpaid, they feel underappreciated, they're dealing with things that they didn't sign up for, which is violence. In that particular incident, you had 2 teachers in that one incident injured. We were told that these are rare, these things don't happen that often, and the school's right on top of it. But then talking to other parents and teachers, I found out there were 3 fights at Taconic that same day. There was the big fight at Reed that same day. And then talking to all the kids, you're finding out this has been going on, and it goes on constantly. And we're not talking little fights. We're talking head stomping, literally kicking people in the face. Kids don't lash out like that unless something's horribly wrong. And then you hear all the differing opinions. I've heard people say, well, it's the parents' fault. You got to go after the parents. It's blah, blah. And then people saying what those kids need is to be expelled forever and have their ass whooped. And I listen to everybody. I do listen to everybody. But again, you don't know the scenario. I was a kid I got kicked out of every school. I was in the foster system. I was known as somebody who did nothing but fight. And I still, at 50 years old, which I am now, I have kids or friends that should be friends, people I came up with, that still to this day won't talk to me because of the way I was. I was hurting and struggling so bad that when a kid is struggling like that, what do they end up doing? They end up lashing out at anyone around them, which is what I did. Because I was suffering. And you have a culture in this society right now, in our country. Well, for one, nobody has studied the effects of the pandemic in pulling these kids out of high school the way they were, out of school and missing their friends and being home and trying to adapt to all that. the opioid crisis. I was reading information about the amount of children in this country being raised in households where they have parents struggling with addiction issues. There's so many problems, and it takes a village to come together and heal in community. And I get so sick of the finger pointing. But anyway, I knew going up there, and I kept saying to myself, Mike, if you're the only one there, don't get discouraged. Now, I had plans. I had things to do too. I had friends tell me, I can't this night. We're going out. We got tickets to this. And then someone said, yeah, but the game, I've got friends coming out of town for the Bucks-Pats game on Sunday. And I heard all the reasons, and I thought, if I had put a post out saying, I'm doing this standout and Tom Brady and Giselle will be there with a great big pile of weed, holy Christ, half the city would have been there. So it is about priority, because everybody would have found time to go up there and meet Tom Brady, right? But they couldn't find time. I know what it's like for these kids struggling. I was one of them. I was in that scenario. And some of them might have it way worse than I had that many years ago. I just, look, as long as it's a part of the conversation, that's a good thing. We can disagree on that, but if we can come together and everyone bring ideas together, the first step is coming together. That's why these standouts are important. It's about bringing community together. That's how you start to heal. Everyone's got to be on the same page. I don't get paid to do this. I spend everything I have. I drive a $500 car so I could go out this year and drop another $9,000 on camera equipment to do this. I took my car money to do that. And nobody asked me to do this. Nobody asked me to do this. But I'm riding that rail to the end. I have two options. Follow through, go to the end, remember why you did this, or jump off. I'm not going to jump off. But I have to say, I was very discouraged last night when nobody showed. Because everyone said, well, you need to schedule it different. There's no scheduling. There's never a night that's good for people. All I was asking people, I saw the hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of cars driving by, and I thought, none of these people that live here can take 5-10 minutes to come up here and say, I care too. Because we know we're losing teachers, we're losing students, it's chaos. And that's a representation, that's a public building, whether you have children or not, that every taxpayer is paying for. We're all responsible for it. You don't blaming parents, blaming children, blaming this one, saying we need to expel. That doesn't make sense to me. You come together. Who's responsible, right? If you go to a bar and it's your favorite bar or restaurant to go to, and all of a sudden the clientele starts coming in on the weekends and fights start breaking out, who's responsible? Isn't it the bar's responsibility to provide a safe environment? And what would the bar most likely do? Probably hire an extra bouncer or two and start addressing that problem so everyone is safe. If you have a birthday party for your kid at your house and parents are dropping off their other kids to come to your kid's birthday party at your house, who's responsible for what takes place inside those walls? And is the excuses, well, a fight broke out and somebody got really hurt. It ain't my fault. It was their parents raised them wrong. You're responsible. When those kids are in that building, the community is responsible. And the administrators at the top of that, the people were put there, they are responsible. And the buck stops with somebody. And who's the department head of the city? It's the mayor. It's the mayor. And where is the mayor on this issue? I'm sorry. It frustrated me. And I got to tell you, I was so frustrated. And I had a bad week just a little while ago. And people who know me personally know why. I lost 3 people on one day. And everything caught up to me. And then I realized, I went to just go talk to somebody, and I realized what I went through just at Springside Park last year, finding people unresponsive, some of them deceased in that park. I didn't realize the trauma that I was putting on myself because I wasn't trained to deal with that, but I kept trying to help. And nights where I spent the night in the park because I saw the problems it was causing, massive problems. And it was getting to the police because everyone started blaming the police, and our police were trying to do their job, and they're running back and forth to the park every 10 minutes. And it was, it was chaos. and nobody was handling that correctly. And again, the buck stops at the top with the mayor and the administration. You know, all the politicians that will go out and they have no problem spending all their time asking you to put signs in their yard and knock on their door and mailing you things, telling you how great they are, and that's why you got to vote for them. It takes community. Sometimes you just do it. You do it and you don't have to get paid for it. You don't have to have all that. You do it because it's the right thing to do to bring community together. So I'll be doing another one of these next Friday. And if I'm the only person there, I don't care. Come up and see me. At least wave. I will still be there. I will still be there, and I will continue to do this. You know, and I was so close with everything getting to me. A friend of mine that showed up last night and said, Mike, let me take you to dinner. Because I don't have money for food. I spent it all. I spent my food money on boosting some videos this week. That's the truth. Again, no one asked me to do it. I'm not playing the violin for myself. So he took me out to dinner, and I was telling him, look, you know the job offers I've turned down, the marketing jobs I've turned down this year to do this? And I was so frustrated, and out of nowhere, a person in the community, a well-known person in the community, was friends with the person who took me out to dinner. And he came up and he said, hey, I watch all your videos, this and that. And I don't think he realizes how much, the few words that he said to me about how much he appreciates what I do, I needed that so bad. And it turned my whole night around. And it made me go, all right, dust it off, pick your head up, stop your whining, move forward. Keep moving forward. Never stop. You got on this, you stick with it, you follow it through, and you keep fighting. Why? Because those hurting kids that are involved in this, that's why. Because of the teachers, that's why. Because of the underpaid staff, not just the teachers, but the cafeteria workers and the rest of them that have to watch the administrators get more and more money when they know what they're going through. And we can't even pay our cafeteria workers minimum wage. It's disgusting. All of it started, you know, that's why. That's why. You keep moving forward. But I'm begging all of you as a community, it's time to open that discussion. I don't have all the answers. I never profess to, ever. But if we can come together, we can bring those answers together. We can start acting like a community. And our politicians that do nothing but divide. You know, I've been hearing this rumor going around about Karen Kalinowski faking a back injury, and oh my God, I can't believe some of the mean, cruel things that people are saying, especially about somebody like her who fosters children, who for almost 32 years was a Pittsfield police officer. Yeah, she put this elaborate plan together. She's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll scam the city out of money. It's simple. All I gotta do is be a police officer for 32 years, have a neck surgery, a spine surgery where they gotta go in through my throat, and then have pins put in my hip. That'll show them if I can just pull that off for 32 years, I'll be able to get a paycheck. Give me a break. That's the type of mentality, that nonsense has to stop. And ask yourself when a politician's asking you to put that sign in their yard, when have you heard from them before? And what are they really doing? Are we really bringing the community together? Because look, there's no doubt there's a ton of good things happening and a ton of opportunities here. A ton of them. Big, great things. But the community spirit is not there, and it takes the people at the top. That's their job, is to unite everyone and educate everyone and be open. Don't trash each other constantly. I'm tired. Some of the people that, if you keep trashing me, the few of you that do, I swear to God, I'm going to start calling y'all out by name every day. Keep it up, because I'm getting tired of that. You're hurting the community. And I'm not going to tolerate people spreading BS lies about me. I'm not. I will keep moving forward, and I will steamroll over you if you're going to start this stuff and just continually trash Pittsfield, because that's what you're doing. You're hurting the community by doing it. I am open and fair, and I treat everyone with the same respect that I want to be treated with, and I'm tired of the bullying tactics. I'm going to start calling people out on it. I swear to God I am. So keep it up. And just stop. Let's heal. Heal. Stop the nonsense. This is a big issue that needs a bigger discussion, and I'm going to do more videos on this. So again, thank you for letting me vent, everyone, to the people who showed up to that standout. Craig, Karen, Kenny, Steve and April, I can't thank you enough. Jen, that was there, I can't thank you enough. And thank you to, I forget her name, at the Berkshire Eagle that covered it. I hate that picture that you took. It looks like I'm dancing in a weird ostrich pose coming down the stairs, but whatever. I guess everyone looks at photos of themselves and go, ugh. But thank you for covering it. I feel like she covered that fairly. And thank you. And to our police officers that have taken the time to speak with me, I know none of it was on the whatever, but thank you. Thank you, everyone. And let's keep at it. So, hey, next week it'll be Park Square on Friday. Maybe Tom Brady and Giselle will be there with a big pile of weed and a couple cases of Jack. So come on up. All right, that's it for now. Thank you, everyone, and I'll catch you the next day or two.